This video shows the result of my attempt to merge two ant colonies, which unfortunately led to the worker ants fighting each other. It wasn't intentional, and I didn't mean for them to clash like that. I hope you enjoy watching and continue to support me. Today I gave the ants a day off to rest. The queens are still holding up well, but one in the back has already passed away. The males seem incredibly efficient overnight. They've completely taken care of their victim. Up front, another one is facing the same fate and probably won't last much longer. As soon as I lifted the light cover, the first thing that hit me was a brutal scene ants viciously tearing into their own queens. It was heartbreaking to watch, not just for the poor queens, but also for my wallet. A single queen ant costs a fortune, yet they were being taken down so effortlessly. At first, I considered opening the lid to save them, but seeing the swarm of ants piling up, I knew the moment I did, chaos would break loose. In the end, I had no choice but to close my eyes and let nature take its course. The entrance to the activity zone had been completely sealed off with trash by the ants, so I made a bold decision, remove the connecting tube and seal it off for good. As for the worker ants still inside, I'll catch them one by one later. The worker ants are drinking sugar water, but it reminds me of a few months ago when these rebellious ants tore apart their own queen. I was so furious that I tossed the entire colony into a corner and left them to their fate, ignoring them completely. I needed an ant nest, so I checked it out. While most males had died, many survived. Impressed by their resilience in such harsh conditions, I decided to find them a new queen. Since this nest had been left neglected for so long, the lid was covered in dust, so I had to clean it up a bit before dumping out the dead ants. Afterward, I carefully introduced the new ants. In the past, when I kept this species, I had tried mixing male ants from different colonies, and they never fought. Thinking it would be fine, I didn't check too thoroughly this time and just poured them in. Two different ant colonies clashed the moment they encountered each other. It wasn't until later that I realized the key to merging colonies. They must come from the same origin. If they're from different sources, their pheromone signals could differ, causing them to turn on each other in a vicious fight. Overconfident, I skipped the trial and mixed them directly, causing this disaster. To merge colonies, test each ant carefully. If they fight, they can't live together. After reorganizing the two colonies that had just fought, I checked on the new ants that arrived yesterday. They've all settled into the nest, and the space still looks quite spacious. With this amount of room, adding another 10 to 20 ants shouldn't be an issue at all. There are still two 4-centimeter chambers left to organize, so everything needs to be sorted out neatly. And now it's time for the great ant relocation. The 4-centimeter chamber looks a bit cramped. In the past, I managed to house over 100 ants in a 5-centimeter chamber with no issues. But now, with just a dozen or so ants in the 4-centimeter chamber, it already feels crowded. I'm not sure if it's just my imagination, though. There's one more empty compartment, just enough to add another colony. Now all that's left is to let them settle in on their own. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and support me.